She was a tough character to play, I have to say. We had a few things in common. We were around about the same age. We were both Samoan and we were both single mothers. That's where the similarities between myself and my character ended. She was a tough character. She was designed to be tough. You know, sometimes you play a character that people love, sometimes you play a character that people hate, and then sometimes you play a character that people love to hate. It's a very different thing, because you see, their hate for you is what they love to keep going. So they want you there so that they can continually hate your character, which actually, it's quite a lot to take on personally, because of course you know you're not your character, but with something like Shortland Street and it being a soap, and I think a lot of the audience in their relation to Shortland Street, they find it hard to separate you from your character, and I can honestly say I found that quite challenging. And it's funny because I think people today, even though I've left the show over a year ago now, still have that relation to me as the character, and they still call me that, you know, when I go around the place. So it's like, yeah, I don't know if you ever lose your Shortland Street character, your Shortland Street identity, to be quite frank. One of the most significant storylines for me that I went through even wasn't actually Vasa's storyline, it was actually her daughter Ula's storyline, when her daughter Ula had a child as a teenager, because of course I was a teenage mother. So to go through that experience fictionally, but then as the mother of the teenage girl, wow. That was really emotional for me. It really, really was. I remember breaking down on set, like not on camera, but you know, on set, because just what was coming up for me, yeah, it was really fascinating, and it was such an incredible experience for me to go through that in a reverse role to what I had in real life, you know, and I felt I'd brought some of that to that as well. When it came to fruition and we were actually able to shoot this, like, because for 5 years we weren't sure if it was ever going to happen. So that day that the cameras rolled was like amazing, and then at the same time my reaction was because of this. I'd never really acted before, and then I had the female lead in this feature film, which was important on so many different levels. Of course I felt completely intimidated, completely out of my depth. I truly don't know if I ever felt like I knew what I was doing the entire time. I can honestly say that. Every single scene, if you knew what was going on in my head, I was just going, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, I'm doing this film and I don't even know how to act. I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing. You know, I honestly, I felt so completely out of my depth. But again, I was so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this, and again, another amazing learning experience for me. I don't want to worry people though, going like this, oh my gosh, so I'm learning on all these big projects, and I only ever felt like I was learning, but I guess maybe that is life. I don't know if we ever feel ready for the opportunities that we get. I think we feel ready after we've actually experienced them, because that's the only way you learn. It was interesting because when I auditioned for Savannah, she was actually quite different character-wise. She was a bit of a game player, and you know, she would use people for her own gain. And I had a lot of fun playing that audition, because I felt like, wow, I've never played a character like that. And then after they cast me, they said, oh, we felt that that wasn't quite, you know, as much as you did a great audition as that character, we thought you were far too nice. So they changed the character and made her a lot nicer, which was kind of nice. But I'm still yet to play a really bad girl like that. So I think that's still to come. It was just such a shame that I wasn't a part of it after the first season, because of course I played Jethro's legal assistant, and then after season 1, Jethro left the law firm, and I was going, well, can't you write this like Jerry Maguire moment where he goes, who's coming with me? And Savannah can be like, I'm coming, Jethro. That would be so great. But no, that didn't happen. Sione's one had made such an impact, not just on our community, which was obviously the intended audience, but then it just ended up, you know, being loved by so many people. And so we felt it was only fair to do Sione's 2. We just wanted to work together again. This time I was much more experienced as an actor, so I was actually looking forward to doing it, whereas the last one I was just petrified. And so now I'm like, okay, looking forward to doing this because I'm a lot more experienced. Looking forward to working with everyone again because it's great to see them all. And the second time we got to do the film was with Simon Bennett, who was meant to be the first director he was the original director for Sione's, and then that didn't happen because of schedule-wise. So in some ways, I don't know, it just felt like this coming together, maybe a bit of closure in a way of doing this second follow-up to the project that we'd all loved so much. But again, I think the best thing for me was that I felt like I knew what I was doing a little bit more, just a little bit. Just like my character in Outrageous Fortune, Teuila was there for season 1. You know, I think maybe I like to look at myself like I'm a good omen, you know? It's like you put me in season 1 and that will guarantee success of the seasons to come, because of course they're doing Westside 2 right now and I'm not in it. But why I loved doing Westside was because, again, it brought me back together with people like Antonia and also that world again, but also because I grew up in those 70s. And it was so wonderful to go back into that world, and it just brought back so many wonderful memories of my childhood and even just the world and the place that it was then. And that was really, really nice. And I think that's what people are loving about Westside, and it's great for New Zealand because they loved the Westside, the westiness of Outrageous, but this is another, almost like a golden age, honestly, of New Zealand. I think anyone who grew up in the 70s will tell you this, that, you know, the world just seemed like it was going to be a much brighter place then. Opportunity, everything. And now we're here in the future, and hasn't, you know, gone as well as what I think we all thought it might have back then. So nice to be back there, and who knows, maybe my character will show up again in a future season. I loved doing Dancing with the Stars. Jumped on board. It was just so thrilled to be a part of the show, but boy, it was challenging. But that was cool. I expected it to be challenging. Was it more challenging than what I thought? Probably. I think physically, dancing is just so intensely physically challenging, especially when it's not your discipline that you know are experienced at. So that was tough. But then when it came to live performance, of doing something that I didn't feel fully confident in myself, because of course, you know, totally inexperienced, that pressure was intense. And the judging was as harsh as it comes across on television. They don't pull any punches. It's not planned. They're really nice to you behind the scenes, and then they're really mean to you on camera, and then they come and try to be nice to you after, and you're like, no, that was really horrible what you just did to me. So all in all, great experience. I was cheated because I shouldn't have got marked so low because I had some more to bring. So if there was a disappointment, I would say I didn't get to fulfill my absolute potential as a dancer, although I think, again, the wholeness of the experience, I got as much as I obviously needed. So it was amazing. Funny Girls was totally unexpected. I actually kept getting called in because the people that they originally cast couldn't make it. So I was like the 11th hour ring-in, which was hilarious. I was like, or you could just cast me originally. But the great thing is that, because yes, I am experienced comedy-wise. I love comedy. I love it, love it, love it. So I'll jump at any chance to do it. And I was used to sketch comedy. And again, it brought me back together with friends I hadn't worked with in a while. So that was awesome. And I love that there is more female comedy getting out there, getting made, and you know, if it goes again, they are welcome to cast me this time, although if they want to call me last minute, you know, I'll deliver. So that's why they call me. So I took that as a compliment as well. The greatest challenge for me personally has been to, one, get used to that public recognition, but then also to be able to take everything that comes with it, the good and the bad. And of course, I certainly experienced the more negative side of having a public profile. And at the end of the day, you just have to come back to the fact that you know exactly who you actually are, regardless of people's perceptions of you. And that's the thing. I mean, you know, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's not just people who might have a negative opinion of you that don't know you, even people that, you know, tend to overly idolize people with public perceptions and make them greater than what they actually are and things like that. So you can't take either of that on board, you know, and I think that's what it's about. It's like, you know who you are. The very few people that will ever actually meet you and work with you and know you personally, they're really the only people that are ever going to really know you. And if you start worrying about what everyone thinks about you, well, yeah, you're not going to be able to handle this career. So I just tend to, I'm grateful for the good. I'm grateful for the bad, because I think it's making me tougher as well, which is a good thing. It's growing me up somewhat.